Hello and welcome to the first battle of the Exploit Flash tournament, where exploits are allowed. That means pull through is allowed. No redlining, corner camping, of course. So there is a limit to the exploits, but you can use the exploit where you can bring any unit from any faction, which should make for some really interesting games if the players don't just decide to spam mid-tier infantry. Galatia is a strong pick. We have 3 Galatian legionaries, or 6 Galatian legionaries. Then we have 1 Galatian nobleman general, 3 Levy freemen, 2 Syrian archers, a Galatian sword, 3 Galatian raiders, and the unit from another faction here will be the Samrmatian Horsemen. Samrmatian Horsemen are great, cheap, heavy melee cavalry. Great stats all around. The special thing about these units is that they have Draco, and Draco is going to reduce the bonus versus cavalry on other units, which means that these guys will beast up enemy cavalry to a significant degree. They can also do well against spears because they remove the bonus versus cavalry, and then the low damage potential of the spears are going to be lowered further because they don't have their bonus. So these guys can be absolutely deadly against enemy spear units. Now we can't quite see the Roman build yet. The battle is played on Nemetacenna. That's the new name of Nemetacenna. You'll see why later in the tournament. Nemetacenna has been named to Nemetacenna. For Rome we have 2 Baktrian Horse Archers, and those are all the foreign units, all the auxiliaries Rome brought. 2 Baktrian Horse Archers. Baktrian Horse Archers, capable melee units actually, with 42 melee attack and 36 weapon damage. Still a terrible charge, and they are super expensive for what they do. For Rome we also have a center line consisting of 6 Evocati, then we have 5 Hastati, 2 legionary cavalry, 2 auxiliary Syrian archer, and another Hastati. So we have 6 Hastati, 6 Evocati. Again, very meta, this build. The commander is Caesar, or Caesar, and for Galatia the commander is a strategist general. These Galatian raiders are dropping to the Baktrian horse. They have a hard time hitting them because they're being microed reasonably well here, but the Baktrian Horse Archers start dropping. Although they are getting great shots off on the Galatian Raiders, this is into the unshielded side of Galatian Raiders, so the Galatian Raiders are going to get wrecked by Baktrian Horse Archers, especially when the Baktrian Horse Archers are using their precision shot. This kills the Galatian Raiders. The armor of the Baktrian Horse helps them a bit here, but the Galatian player wises up to what's happening, charges in the Galatian Raiders, and this is a super interesting engagement because Baktrian Horse Archers, true, they have good melee stats. The Galatian Raiders also have good melee stats but more weapon damage. It's a bit of an unfair engagement because the Galatian Raiders are also under fire from Hastati and other units. So overall these Baktrian Horse Archers definitely got the better of that engagement. If these were your standard Horse Archers, they would get wrecked by the 40 weapon damage of the Galatian Raiders. Also a very good charge bonus of 39, so these units are deadly against light enemy troops. But the Baktrian Horse Archers definitely took them down a few notches, but this was not a cost-effective engagement for Galatia at all. Lost way too many Galatian Raiders. And I quite like Horse Archers for Rome. It gives Rome some needed missile support, but going for 2 Baktrian Horse instead of going for 4 mercenary Sarmatian Horse is a bit of an odd choice to me. 4 Sarmatian Horse would be a much faster and arguably deadlier choice against these Galatian Raiders. But we'll see how these Baktrian Horse Archers do in the end. They are already very, very tired. The Galatian Raiders are winded and active. Very standard Roman formation this. Hastati front line, Evocati bringing up the rear. This is a bit of a peculiar barbarian build. Usually you will see the Syrian archers be in the center, but keeping these archers on the flanks is potentially a smart move. because that will allow these archers, if they're able to flank around, they could fire into the unshielded side of enemy troops, which is going to increase their kills dramatically. The problem is going to be defending them against cavalry, but these Sarmatian horse are very capable. Against legionary cavalry, if they pop Draco, they are going to absolutely destroy legionary cavalry. Great units. They look quite cool as well. They fit Galatia's overall look, aside from the shields maybe, but some mercenary Sarmatian horsemen for Galatia would be really cool together with the Cappadocians. A bit too far away from the area of recruitment perhaps, but I wouldn't mind it certainly. Levy freemen doing their thing, just screening the mercenary Syrians. The mercenary Syrians and the auxiliary Syrians, identical units. Already heavy shot on for these mercenary Syrians. One with heavy shot, one without. A volley wasted against Levy freemen here. They haven't taken well, they took a single casualty from 2 volleys. So already the Levy freemen are starting to be cost effective. Doesn't look like Rome is going to put pressure on this flank with the cavalry, but close support by Sarmatian horse should be able to rush in and support the archers if Rome makes a push here. Now the auxiliary Syrian archers will be getting the first volleys off on the mercenary Syrian archers, not using precision shots. I'm not quite sure why. Firing into the Hastati, into the shielded side of Hastati instead of firing at the Syrians. Now they're firing at the Syrians. Neither side uses precision shot. Precision shot can be super important. Galatia doing a very nice job here, pouring more damage into the Syrians and basically just chasing them away. And this is going to give the mercenary Syrians 3 volleys off on the auxiliary Syrians, and super aggressive Galatian raider play here. They're going to eat massive javelins, not get a huge amount of kills, but it will give Galatia an advantage in terms of skirmishing. But as that happens, Galatia is getting charged here by these Hastati. Galatian swords are going to do well when they get charges off against Hastati, but if this second unit of Hastati hits the Galatian swords, they're going to be they're not going to do well. A charge from Levy freemen here and a rare charge from Galatian raiders would do a lot of damage to the Hastati, but this is obviously a much more tantalizing target for the Galatian raiders. The Socia Equites a bit slow to respond here. The auxiliary Syrian archers get charged, but due to their great armor they are able to hold for at least some time. The Hastati here unsupported against Galatian swords. Galatian swords are super dangerous when they can get charges off on enemy units that don't get charges off on them. Sarmatian horse here coming in here helping the Levy freemen. It's not like they really need help against Hastati, but they're good sports and they give their Hastati brothers a bit of help. Or sorry, their Levy freemen a bit of help. The Galatian raiders were able to break these auxiliary Syrian archers with 55 men remaining in the unit. If they're able to shatter them here, that would be really, really good. But it looks like the auxiliary Syrian archers might make it due to the cavalry support here. So these Galatian swords already wrecked a unit of Hastati. Now the Sarmatian horse come in. Not a great clean charge, but they did manage to attack these Hastati in the rear and stop them from firing. Firing into the blob now is going to do a lot of damage to the Sarmatian horse as well as the Hastati, but it might actually break the Hastati here, because this just shows how dangerous heavy melee cavalry can be, breaking the Hastati together with a fire. Here come the Baktrian Horse Archers together with some Hastati. Hastati think they're Levy freemen, they are obviously not. They're going to charge into the Levy freemen, screen the Baktrian horse, but the Levy freemen managed to throw a volley into the Baktrian Horse Archers. They actually got a lot of kills. A unit of Sarmatian horse charging into Evocati. Here we have Sarmatian horse popping Draco on these Socii and these Socii, and you can see that makes their bonus, should make their bonus against large drop. I don't know if it does so in replays, but these guys are were winning slightly even though they were attacked in the rear, so that should be some indication. Levy freemen rushing in. These Socia units are taking a beating from the Sarmatian horse. It's going to be even worse when the Levy freemen rush in. In the center we have engagements, Sarmatian Horse and Galatian Legionaries. The Galatian Legionaries will do well against the Stati, of course. Will struggle against Avocati cohorts if they don't get a clean charge. But they did have some support here from Sarmatian Horse. That kind of messed up the charge a bit. On the flanks, the Sarmatian Horse are pulling out after getting a lot of kills. The Levy Freemen also got some nice kills, but they're going to die to Avocati. So many Roman units on the field. This Avocati getting charged. Not the cleanest of charges, but still charged. Galatian Legionaries activating shield wall, and this is a typical situation where the shield wall might bug out, but it looks like it's not going to bug out yet, so that's good for Galatia. Galatian swords got massive kills, but now they are going to die. They have more than paid for themselves, so it's okay. Here we have Baktrian Horse Archers getting destroyed while not really managing to become cost effective. Super expensive units. They need to be alive in the late game and get rare charges in order to be effective. Another charge, Draco, by Sarmatian Horse, and here we see the bonus versus large on the Socii drop from 10 to 5. So now the Sarmatian Horse have an edge here. And they're getting decent enough kills here. Swinging around with another unit of Sarmatian Horse, that's going to do a lot of damage. Overall, the Galatian units are doing well. Here you can see Avocati lose against Galatian Legionaries. Here it's even 2 against 1, so that's of course very unfair. This Galatian Legionary is losing because it's up against 2 Astati, and this Astati is sort of wheeling around. Looks like formation attack is on. And against 2 Sarmatian Horse, there isn't really much 2 Socii can do, unless they get supported by Avocati, of course. Javelins wrecking Sarmatian Horsemen. The Sarmatian Horsemen have to pull out now, so they just didn't manage to take out the Socii. The loyalty of the 10th being popped on the Roman units to make them unbreakable. The Legatus managed to get into the Syrian archers, but this is actually bad for Rome because these Syrian archers are firing into the Legatus. These guys are as well, so this is a good engagement for Galatia. Managing to take the Roman general off the field is going to be very important. Even though Roman troops are disciplined, they're still going to get a penalty when the general dies. So the Roman general is, let's see, he's routed. He's starting to rout, but he isn't dead yet. This might be him, the cheeky bastard running from the battlefield, the Legatus. Because there is no penalty. Well, now the general died, so good job there. This is going to make it a lot easier for Galatia to clean up the Roman units. It still looks very good for Galatia. Free cavalry, general is doing fine. Not a great charge here by the Sarmatian Horse. The Galatian Legionaries not doing particularly well up against these 3 units, of course. But this rear charge, just as the Galatian Legionaries are about to break, very important. They're not going to be able to defeat the Avocati cohort like this, but it really doesn't matter because now these Galatian Legionaries are going to be moving around, getting rear charges. A few Roman units still free over here. Baktrian Horse Archers beasting up some mercenary Syrian archers. The Galatian nobles, this could be an interesting engagement. Full Galatian noble against Avocati. Should destroy the Avocati on the charge. These guys have a 32 charge bonus and 30 weapon damage. So they're going to do a lot of damage to disorganized Avocati on the charge. So many Galatian legionaries left. So few Romans. And just having the cavalry available for late game rear charging is of course massive for Galatia. Bringing additional mid-tier cavalry is a very safe choice for Galatia. These Sarmatian Horse are very cheap and a very solid choice, I think, for Galatia. They've done a lot of work in this battle, and now there's only this one Avocati left. It's going to get a charge on the Galatian noblemen, but at this point it doesn't really matter. They are already wavering because of army losses, and one more charge against these guys and they are off the field, and there we go. Galatia wins a costly victory against Rome. Magma of the SITH clan defeats Laiskahauki. Sounds like a Finnish word. And The Baktrian Horse Archers did get some kills, but I don't think they were close to being cost effective. Great kills on the Galatian swords here. Decent enough kills on the Galatian legionaries. Nothing really stands out. These two Sarmatian horse did really well. The Galatian raiders were destroyed quite early, so they weren't able to perform very well. But nothing on the Roman side really stands out to me as a very well performing unit. Laiskahauki was a bit outplayed here by Magma, although Magma also made his share of mistakes, like losing his Galatian raiders early. Magma's Galatian build was very, very strong. Rome only had 2 melee cavalry units, which is going to potentially be dangerous. They could use these hybrid units as well, the Baktrian Horse Archers, but they are much more fragile than other melee cavalry, of course, since they are missile and they don't have shields, don't have a lot of armor and stuff like that. Very standard stuff with the 6 Evocati, 6 Hastati, super safe, but it just goes to show that even though this is arguably one of the strongest Roman lineups you can have in terms of infantry, bringing a solid balanced force can really tip the scales in your favor if you're able to use cavalry well. And I think Magma used his cavalry reasonably well. He got a lot of rare charges off. He got a lot of Hastati off the field with his Sarmatian horse. He was able to put the pressure on the Syrian archers, so his Syrian archers overperformed or performed better than the Syrian archers. So good game. Magma advances to the next round in the tournament. Strength and honor.